Hermana, I'm so excited to have you back here. I feel like at this point we need to just have like a whole ass podcast that is just us fucking ranting about everything and anything, because the gems are always dropped when we're together. And this conversation, I know, is going to be no less spectacular than any of the ones that we've had on both of our shows. Welcome back, Miss Erika Cramer, the Queen of Confidence, to Jefas Dinero.
Oh my God. Welcome you, Mama. Motherhood has entered the building. Motherhood and money.
I know that's right. Okay. Because let me tell you from firsthand experience, if you actually want to enjoy this thing called motherhood, money fucking helps. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited because this year, obviously, with me being on this new journey, I was just inspired to create a space where we can have real, raw, honest conversations about the world of building businesses and babies. Okay. And I think the whole thing about this for me was triggered by all of the toxic, negative shit that I see about motherhood on social media. It irks my fucking spirit because I feel like it's just not an accurate portrayal of what is possible. And so on this series, I'm hoping to highlight just the fact that like it doesn't have to be this drudge where you give up all your dreams and your kids suck the fucking life out of you, and it's not it. Okay. So I've gathered an incredible cohort of women who are killing it in the business of entrepreneurship and the business of building babies. And so let's dive into you and your motherhood story. So from what I know about you, you actually started your business while you were a new mom. So take us back.
Oh my God. So I had a side hustle for a long time with the first baby. And when my second son came, and we had a whole chat, me and you, about birth and how just completely messed up birth is as an industry.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too.
Oh, good. Because I'm like, oh God, it's full on, right? Like crazy. And so I got introduced because I had some elder friends that were like, girl, let me tell you. And I was like, what? Mind blown. And so when I had my second baby, Nava, it was a completely different birth to the first birth experience. It was like I was another person. And I promise you, no matter how your baby comes out, you get birthed in that experience. And not just your first baby, your second, your third, your fifth. So my second son was born at home. It was a beautiful home birth. I did not open my eyes for the whole time. And it must have taken some part of me, because my husband said to me, when Nava was born, like, you were different. He's like, I saw you in so much power. And I was quiet because I think my power is in my crazy loud Puerto Rican, but it was Puerto Rican. It was in my like calm. I said that like that Instagram lady. It was in my like calm breathing nothingness. Anyway, so this part of me was born that I was like, oh my God, I can do this hard thing. My body can do what it needs to do. Holy shit. And I don't know. I was listening to Gary Vee yelling at me, which I'm sure is how we do for our people. I yell at people now and tell them, stop messing around. And it just hit me. I was like, when am I going to freaking do this? And so Nava was 3 months old, the worst time. We had no money. We were looking for coins to buy this $5 bread. Australia's bread is expensive. And I was like, what am I waiting for? Like literally, if you're listening to this, you probably heard the knock, and then it bangs the door, and then it stabs you on the side. And it was just, I had it. And I was like, I have to do this. So at the worst timing possible, I came downstairs high on my oxytocin 4 months later, still being like, I'm not going back to my job at L'Oreal, and I'm going to launch my business. I'm going to start a podcast, and I'm going to do a YouTube. And he's just looking at me like, tuta loca, like, what are you talking about? Right? Like, Amish is brown. He turned white. He was like, we have no money. We bought a Tiguan. We bought this Volkswagen 4-seater because when you get two babies, then you need an SUV.
Girl, I did that shit like 5 days after my daughter was born. I'm in the fucking BMW dealership like, this little ass car is not gonna work no more, okay? We need a 7-seater.
Too much, right? Like we got car seats and plastic and fucking bathtubs and prams and all this shit. So I was like, we just made mistakes. Like we just rented a house, bought furniture for this rented house. It wasn't our house. All this money we dropped. And then I'm like, I'm not going back to my $80K a year job. By the way, the $80K a year was before tax. Okay. Cause I was a contractor. So not a good gig, even though I thought it was a good gig. So he looked at me like I had 4 heads. And I was like, I don't need you to back me. I don't care if you don't believe in me. I'm American. I'm Puerto Rican. I got the grit because I live in Australia. So I had to remind him, my husband, like, listen, bitch, you know who I am. I got this.
You're not cut from the same cloth. Sir.
No, I was like, I know how to hustle. I'm not playing. And it was like a moment. I don't know. I think you've had these moments when you left your corporate, these moments of like, If not now, when? Like, what are you waiting for? Like, stop messing around. And I think that the best timing never is there. What's the best time to have a baby? These cute people that try to plan, when I'm 37, I will be pregnant. I will have $50,000 saved. It's like, that shit is not working like that. It is the worst timing when these things happen. And that's the time to do it. So I was like, I'm gonna launch. And I was breastfeeding my son. And my toddler, oh God, that is a disaster waiting to happen. You got a 2-year-old local running around the house. It was back when that song, Dame tu cosita, that song came out. And it was on 24/7. I'm like, oh my God, shut this shit off. I'm breastfeeding Nava, Raven's running around, and I'm over here trying to Google how to start a YouTube, how to do a retreat, it was wild, but perfect timing because we needed the money and we had to do it. And I just was like, I'm done. I'm not going to go back to work. I can't go back to a job. This is my time.
I love that. I think when I go back to why I was so hesitant about motherhood, a lot of it did have to do with the fact that our society is like so anti-mother. It's fucking crazy. Like they're super pro pregnancy, pro birth, but like the moment that child comes out, it's like, bitch, you on your own. Okay. Well, you are on your fucking own, especially if you're here in America where there's literally no paid maternity leave, where there's no child care subsidies. At least you're in
Wild.
Australia where they're a little more civilized. But at the end of the day, you know, so for me, I was always just like, motherhood is not conducive with like how our fucking society is structured. And so I think that's why, especially mothers and mothers to be gravitate towards the world of entrepreneurship, because it does represent this opportunity for you to really create your life and structure it in a way that is conducive to you making this like a part of your fucking life, as opposed to just seeing your kid for an hour a day and outsourcing care and hoping that they're okay and literally working to pay for fucking daycare.
That to me, like that shit is the scariest thing is like, and it's also a block. I see my clients are like, I don't want to put my kid in daycare at all. I want to be 24/7 with them, but I also want to blow up my business. Yo, Johnny, somebody asked me, I won some award, some motherhood award, right? And for business. And they were like, what was your highlight moment? I'm like, bitch, when I could afford 2 kids, 5 days in childcare. Like, I was like, I've made it. And I love my kids. Oh my God, hello, they're my babies. But I'm super clear, and maybe you are too. Like, I'm not doing this for them. I'm not like, I'm doing this for my kids. No, I'm doing this shit because I'm supposed to do this shit. I'm here for the people that I'm here to impact. My kids are going to grow up. They're going to leave if I do my job well. And they're not going to be thinking about me when they're 25 or 35 with their wife. I don't think about my mother. My husband doesn't think about his mother. And that's sad. But also, we're here to guard and guardian them and look after them and get them out into the world to be good people. But then when they leave, who are you? What's your identity? My identity is not mother, because when they leave, what am I then? My identity is who the fuck I am. I just happen to also be a bomb ass mom and I teach my kids shit. But I was just like, I need them to go to school and learn and build their confidence, especially like the koala clingy baby. Like my baby was like, I only want my mom. And then I believed that shit. Like, oh, he's not going to be okay without me. Man, that kid within 6 weeks, he was like speaking, talking, doing all this shit because he was back in the village. There would be 16 adults would look after your baby. The mother would have the baby only for 7 hours in the village days. Like, how beautiful that the kid could learn from the uncles and the tios and the strangers and the cousins. And so for me, that was like a highlight that I could afford to send them and then obviously have them when I want. I could pick them up when I want. They weren't there all day and all night. But it was important for the beginning because the beginning is so hard, as you know, to build your business. And then you got kids. It's so frustrating when your kids start throwing shit and crawling and trying to fall over. And you're just like, I'm trying to do a landing page in Kajabi, bitch. Are you for real?
That shit is real. Okay. I think it's so important that we destigmatize like creating your support system. And oftentimes for entrepreneurs, especially if you live away from your village that you're born into, you got to buy that village. Okay.
Mhm.
And a lot of people have said to me like, oh my God, you look so well rested and you look like, you're handling this so well. I'm like, bitch, because I'm paying somebody to stay at my fucking house 3 nights a week from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. to literally watch my newborn child sleep so that I get at least 3 days of uninterrupted sleep, because ain't nobody got time to be out here fucking sleep deprived and then expecting to run a multiple 6-figure business, expecting to have a beautiful relationship, expecting to still be able to manage my health and maintain my creative spirit. Get the fuck out of here. Like, we're not out here trying to be, I don't know about you, but I've hung up the Superwoman cape a long fucking time ago. And I don't even think that that's a real thing. I think we just saw it as like perpetual self mutilation and sacrifice from our mothers because that's like what we're supposed to fucking do.
100% that martyrdom is like, you can't look after yourself. Like women be like, I couldn't brush my teeth or do my, it's like, yo, hold on a minute. Hold on
That's
a
a
minute.
problem.
It's a problem. You haven't brushed the tartar on your, or whatever that shit's called. Tartar. Like you got to brush your teeth. You got to wash your ass because it keeps us in this. They've taken the village and then they've taken the resources and then they've taken your family and then people got fences up and then you're stuck in a house with a baby meant to know what to do with this baby and you don't know what to do. And then you haven't brushed your teeth or washed your ass and you think you're going to feel not depressed. And then if you got a business, like for you, like I said to you before we started recording, you look amazing. You've rocked it. You've stood back up like, hey, I'm here. And like building workshops and doing your course and your blogs. It's like, yeah, like, of course, this doesn't die because I became a mother. Like this is amplified. This is amplified. Now there's even more vision and purpose. And I love you because you show what is possible. You're not doing impossible shit. Like you're getting creative with the money that you created in your business by impacting people. And then you're going, I need some help. Like we had a doula that we had for 6 weeks. She came to our house. She brought us food. She held the baby. Like if you don't have help, I live in Australia. I'm so far away from people, right? Like I'm like, okay, what can we do? It costs more money to do a home birth was $5,000, but I had my own team of fucking midwives. I wasn't dealing with the hospital telling me bullshit. I was like, okay, this costs money, but then money gives you that choice. And then you can do the things you need to do and be well rested because that's our option. We have choice when we decide to step into the creator, step into the driver's seat of this shit. And motherhood doesn't have to be messed up. Motherhood doesn't have to be difficult. It can be a beautiful experience that you call in what you need when you have the resources, right?
Yeah. The resources, I think, are the key factor there because whether it's money or it's like support, it's like people around you. I think one of the things about motherhood that has really served me, and I think I'm getting better at it as a business owner too, is just not being ashamed of asking for help. There's so much stigma, I think, around that because, again, we want to be like the top chef in the kitchen making 3 meals a day, making sure you're doing your 60-minute workouts 4 days a week, somehow be like a fucking Playboy bunny for your partner, and then be like mother of the year and PTA fucking president and the top employee in your job. It's like, bitch, no, why? It's not like there's no fucking award for being the most overworked mother of the year. And so I really want us to just let that shit go. You're not a bad person for wanting to like focus in on areas that have high impact. I always say like, I want to focus my energy on the highest return on investment activities. And the stupid administrative shit that has to happen in my house and in my business, I will waste no time getting support with because that shit it's not doing anything for me.
But see, that's beautiful because I think women believe that they either have to do it all or they have, like I get women that try to join my program and they're like, I don't know if I want to do that because I got kids and I want to be there for my kids because my mom wasn't there for me. She worked a lot. And so I don't want to be glued to my phone. And I hate that. It's like, listen, first of all, the phone is not what it used to be. It is literally my bank. It is literally how I get paid. It is how I call people, but it's also how I connect with my clients globally. It is also how I learn. Like the phone's not a phone anymore. So we can't be like, I just want to be glued to my phone. So like, let that story go because it doesn't serve us. Number two, when you do have finances and you do step into your business, yes, there's going to be a point. I had to talk to Hamish at the beginning. I was like, babe, I'm not going to be the Play-Doh mom. And I'm not the Play-Doh mom because I don't like the mess. And I was like, nope, you cannot play Play-Doh in this house. You could do that shit at childcare. We will paint, but no Play-Doh. But I was like, I'm not going to be like the green smoothie is natural. I'm not that mom. Like I'm on a mission because I know who I am and I'm here to do what I'm here to do. So I need you to help me because I'm the loudmouth who's going to get on the screen and do this for the family. You're going to help me with that. And so we had beautiful discussions, which I'm sure you've had with your man now of like, I need your support here so we could get to A, B, and C. When we get to C, we're going to call in that nanny. When we get to D, we're going to blah, blah, blah. And you make a plan. So it's like, you're not doing this by yourself. And I think a lot of women think I either have to ignore my children and never be present and be the mom that's glued to her phone, or I can't be successful. Like it's like, no, like when you have money and when you have resources, like you said, Janice, you can call people in, you can hire out the admin shit. I can work whenever the fuck I want to work. My husband just dropped me off here and my kids were with me and now they're with him and then I'll be here. And then we could go to fucking movies tonight, or we could do like when you work for yourself, you could figure it out for yourself. You get to decide how much time and what you do. And it doesn't have to be like, don't believe the lie that you're going to be a non-present mom if you're successful, because that shit's trapping us as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's so much like of these narratives, I think, that we are going to be dismantling during this series because there's just so many different aspects of things where there is this perception of like how things are supposed to be. And everything about what you do and what I do is just asking people to really challenge that, challenge the status quo, challenge what you've been taught to believe about what you're capable of, about what you can do, about what's quote unquote okay or not. And really, it really is your own path that you can carve when it comes to how you run your business, how you integrate that with your family, and all of that. So I want to ask you a couple things. I'm curious, how do you balance the work of parenthood and business? Because I know you be hopping on planes right now. You're promoting your new book. You got a lot of shit going on. So how do you keep that mom guilt that so many women talk about when it comes to that pursuit of your own personal goals that sometimes can take you away from your family?
Yeah. So I feel like I remember my first year in my podcast, I did a podcast called Fuck Mom Guilt.
Mm. Of course you did.
We will tag it below if you want to listen to it. And I was like,
absolutely.
fuck that. Like guilt is a choice. I have to choose to feel guilty. I'm not going to feel guilty. Right. And so I want to speak to singles because some people don't have a partner and others do. So for me, I had a husband and I was like, honey, I'm doing this. This is what we're doing. And I sat with him and I looked him in the eye and he could see the fire coming off me, like Gary V influence. He was like, damn, bitch, you just birthed a baby from your vagina. You didn't even open your eyes. And prior to that, I had a cesarean and in the middle, I had a miscarriage. So I got the beautiful mixture of life. And so
Full spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was like, okay, fuck, like you're serious. And I was like, I'm serious. But I wasn't going to charge over my husband because I think women are like, we don't need a man. We're just going to step on our husbands and demasculate them and then wonder why they won't fuck us. And I'm like, girl, because your dick is bigger than his. Calm the fuck down, you know? I did that. Okay. I did that as well. So I had to sit with Hamish and go, yo, I want to do this. I need you to have my back. How do we do this? So number one, we made a plan. If you don't have a partner, who in your circle, is it your best friend? Is it your neighbor? Is it your mom? Is it the childcare center? You got people who can help you make this plan because we're not going to do this shit by ourselves. So I had a plan of what I was going to do. And that plan was good because I had certain hours and then he had certain hours. And it was horrific. Let me tell you, the night shift I had, it wasn't a fun plan, but I knew I needed to do it in order to get to A, B, and C. The second thing I think is I speak to my kids and my kids now are 7 and 9. However, when my son was 2, when Raven was 2, I would say to him, baby, mommy's on the computer. I'm making money. I'm making $36 an hour. If I sell the shampoo, you want to push this button? Push sold out. And he would be like, sold out. Like he's 2 years old. And people be like, they don't understand. Baby, they understand from when they're in your belly. Literally, the psychiatrists have found that when they're psychologists, when the baby's in your belly, if you're anxious, they will take those hormones and be born with those hormones. Just like a fucking cow, when you kill a cow and they're stressed out, that shit's in the meat. Like, it's not a bullshit. So I was like, I'm talking to my kids and making sure that they understand what I'm doing and why I'm on the laptop. And I think when you create the story, when you create the narrative, that's what they see. But if you don't, they're just like mommy's on the computer playing video games. So I spoke to them and then I make an effort to make sure that when we're not at school and when I'm not at home, when I'm not working, it's quantity over quality. So last night we went to the movies to see Moana 2. It wasn't great, but anyway, we did this whole experience. We did a dinner. The kids loved it. That was it. And that's enough. And it's like 1 hour playing with them, 10 minutes playing with them, solid, no phones. Don't underestimate how much that does and how much time that gives you to be like, all right, and now I'm over here. So I don't have balance. I don't believe there's a such thing. I think it's work-life integration. I think you have to work with your kids. You have to work with your partner. And you really have to make Janice's plan. You have to make Leanne's plan, Erika's plan. Not this is how you do it. I think it's bullshit when people tell you on podcasts their morning routine because everybody's morning is going to be different. You know what I mean?
I've never started a business or had any kind of like ambitions that involve waking up at fucking 4 a.m. I'm just never going to be that person. And if that's what it takes to like be successful, then fuck it. I don't know what I am, but it's not that.
No. I will be asleep at 4 a.m., bitch.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I did enough early ass morning commutes to then structure my business in a way that I need to get up at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning to quote unquote be at the optimal level.
100%. Have you thought about that for you? Like how that's gonna getting on? I mean, it's beautiful with a baby to travel. You could get on an airplane. It's easier to do when they're little and they're moving around is crazy. But have you thought about how you'll balance like speaking gigs or going away for a
Girl,
couple
I
of days?
already have shit booked. Okay. And you know
Okay.
what? You know why? I structured my life in a way that I knew what I wanted to be able to continue to do in my business. And so the conversation that my partner and I had was like, hey, I think it makes sense for you to leave your job and be a stay at home dad for, let's say, the first year, and let's see how that goes. I think there's a lot of stigma around that decision too, because, for some reason, stay at home moms are like super fucking trendy, especially with the trad wife movement on social media. And it's like everybody wants to be a stay at home mom that's baking bread and raising fucking cattle. But why don't we talk about stay at home dads? You know what I mean? At
Yep.
the end of the day, it didn't make sense for him to continue working where he was working because he would literally be working to pay for daycare. And I'm like, for what? You could be home. Clearly, I make more than enough money to take care of us. And let's just do things in a way that makes sense for us, regardless of like what outside opinions will be. Because we've gotten outside opinions,
Of
both
course.
from his family and my family. They're just like, but why are you guys doing that? Is that okay? Like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it fucking works for us. And that's it. And we don't need to get anybody else's endorsement or explanation. And it's been amazing because every morning, both of us are here. My daughter gets equal time with us. Whenever I need to have, I'm on a podcast right now. He's with the baby. I'm going to be traveling for work. He's going to be home. So I don't have to worry. And it's a beautiful thing. And money has facilitated that, the
Yeah.
ability to make those decisions.
But also too, like these are the conversations that I think a lot of couples are missing. Or if you're dating someone, have these conversations. Like I just said when I left, my kids were like, Mommy, why do you have to go to a podcast? Why doesn't Daddy go do it? And sometimes I'll be like, why doesn't Daddy go speak on the stage? Why do you have to go? And I'm like, because Mommy's the loudmouth. I'm the one that does the show. And then my son was like, well, Daddy could be a loudmouth. And Hamish is looking at them like, no, your mom has different skills. Your mom's skills are different than mine. I would rather never see humans and just be in a cave, just chilling. And like, that's
I think we're married to the same person.
right. Like, we're just crazy, but that's the truth. It's like, know thyself. Are you the partner that's quiet and chill and you're more operation structure? Like, it's so funny. Hamish and I always talk about you got to run your family like a well-oiled business. Like there's a CEO of the family. It is Hamish. He's the CEO of the family. He's like the kids' school, soccer's happening. He's in the WhatsApp with the dads. I'm like, cool. I don't know about any of that. He orders the toilet paper, washes the undies. I don't know about any of that. But then I'm like the CEO of the fucking business. I'm making deals. I'm selling on stories. And so it's beautiful when it sounds like you have that too. Like you have those discussions of like, how is this going to work? And we did that shit, Janice, when I was pregnant. One of our mentors said, you guys need to talk about your values. Who's going to do what? Are you going to get up late and feed? Is she going to do? And I'm like, what do you mean? We're going to do all of it. And he's like, no, the man doesn't have that hormone to wake up in the middle of the night and then go right back to sleep. And we do. And I was like, shit. So like these conversations are important because that's how you let go of the guilt. The resentment that your partner feels to you is because y'all have not talked about it. It shouldn't be there's no resentment with us. Like y'all don't have that because you talked about it.
Absolutely. We had really hard conversations. And, one of the biggest things for me that was a huge fear that I wanted to address head on was like, again, the perception that we see oftentimes where like a child fucks up a relationship. And I've had so many mentors who were like, no, a child doesn't fuck up a relationship. It just amplifies all the bullshit that you guys didn't address before you decide to have a baby. Okay. And so it's like, okay, light bulb moment number one.
Yeah.
And light bulb moment number two was, if you are in a mindset where like it becomes all about this new role and forget about everything else, then yeah, of course that's going to fuck things up. The same way that if like I didn't make plans for making space for motherhood, then my business would suffer because then it's like, fuck, I didn't make a plan for this. Same thing with your partner. Fuck, I didn't make a plan for like, how are we going to continue to cultivate romance and have date nights and and have conversations and not have to watch like Bluey for the 17th time today. So you have to have these conversations. And if you find yourself in a relationship or a situation where like these conversations are not fruitful, then that's a fucking red flag that maybe like this is not the person you need to be having a kid with. I'm just
Hell
saying.
yeah. But that's the thing is like having that with that book that I wrote, one of the ladies in the book, she's in the book as like her story. She's my team member, Nina. And Nina, there's a whole story about her, but basically she just got pregnant. So Nina's on maternity leave now. And I said, I knew she wanted a baby and her partner's 49 or some shit. looks amazing and young, but he's got an 11-year-old. And homeboy was like, I'm not having another baby. And he met Nina, and I'm like, I know you want a baby. And she was like, yeah, but maybe. I'm like, Nina, you better have that fucking conversation with that man on date 1, because you're not 20, like you're 36. So stop playing. She was like, cool. She had that conversation with him, and they worked it out. Anyway, she's pregnant, having a baby. But I'm going to tell you now that it would have been such a disaster if they by mistake got pregnant and they hadn't talked about it. And I think a lot of people fall into that trap. And so if you're over 25, like, you ain't messing around now. Like, start having these conversations, right? That you want, what you don't want, what you're willing to do. And I love what you said about identity, because it is an identity fuck, because you're not just a mother. You're not just a wife. You're not just a daughter. You're not just a business owner. Like, there's so many things about you. And when you fall into the trap, and I saw it with the generation, our mothers, right? We leave the nest, and then they're like, who am I if I'm not making food for my kids and making, oh no, what are my kids doing? Our mothers are so bored on Facebook at night. They're just scrolling all night. The phone's right there. You're like, Ma, you got a problem. Like, what? Hamish's mom's got a problem with Facebook. I'm like, we got to take the iPad off of you.
Stop playing Candy Crush. Okay, please.
I'm like, don't order things on Temu anymore, Mom. Like, what are you doing? But it's because their identity was martyr. I'm there for my kids. I do everything for my kids. I cook for everyone. And now there's no kids. The nest is empty. Who are you? And it's like, ooh, that's an identity mess. It's like, hold on a minute. I'm mother, and I'm wife, and I'm whatever. And you are all those things. And there are seasons that you're in, and it's going to feel hard in the beginning, but you don't have to lose yourself. You get to still be who you are.
Let's talk about that. How do we not lose ourselves? Okay. Because I think it's easier said than done, especially when maybe you don't have that support system that we've talked about.
Yeah. Let's talk to that. If somebody doesn't have the dollars, they don't have the support, and they're like, man, I'm here struggling. I want to say the struggle is the way. Like, what's that? Obstacle is the way. Like, your current struggle should piss you off enough to do something different. For me, I was like, I cannot be in this financial situation with my desires burning all the way at the bottom of my stomach, and I'm allowing myself to live a life I don't want to live, to work in a place I don't want to work, to be in a body I don't want to be in. Like, I was just putting up with so much shit. So if anybody's listening and is like, oh my God, that's me. I don't want to be in my relationship. I hate my job. I don't love my body. I feel like I'm stressed. I feel like there's no way out. Use that. Like, let that piss you off. Let that put your ass cheeks on fire to go, no more. Like, get sick of your own bullshit, basically, and be willing. And you cannot tell me, Janice, can you imagine if me and you were just today starting our business? Girl, there is so much. Bitch, you could go viral in one. Hi, welcome to Instagram, viral reel. Oh, hi, 1 million followers. Like, it's so much easier today. So we don't want to hear your excuses, because it's easier. You could literally sell fucking doTERRA oils. And if you're a good communicator, you have a team and you make commissions. Please, there's a million things you could do, right? So we're in the era right now where it's not about what you can't do. It's, there's so much you can do. It's, are you tired of your own bullshit? And so I would invite you to think about your plan of how you're going to get out of where you are and what you truly want to do. And ABC, like, if I lost everything today, cool. I would just start a YouTube. I would get back on podcasts. I would get back on stories. I would sell whatever the fuck. I would sell Temu shit if I had to, just to get myself to the next phase. Like, what are your phase 1, phase 2? You're not going to go from 0 to 1 million, but can you get to 1,000? Yeah, of course you can. And the world of entrepreneurship is so big right now. So I would say that. Secondly, there's a lot that you can listen to, like your podcast, my podcast. There's a lot of free therapy online. There's a lot of amazing people that are here to support us. And I think you get into a black hole sometimes with motherhood where it feels like it's fucking Groundhog Day. Every day you're sitting there, you're breastfeeding, or your baby's crying, and you're just like, like, it just, wow. I remember feeling like that. Like, I hate my life. This sucks. Like, I didn't think it was going to be like this. And if you're in that, like, notice you're in that. Make sure you walk. Make sure you move your body. Even just walking is free. You could just walk down the street, get out, get oxygen, and listen to shit that's going to make you feel better. Hence why I literally had the Wiggles on one TV, burning some fucking incense, acting like I was being mindful. I was not yelling at my kids. Incense is burning. The Wiggles are playing. And I have Gary Vee in one of my headphones listening to Crushing It. Like, yeah, 1 second, baby. What did he say to do? Like, trying to get myself out,
It's putting the one foot in front of the other, honestly. I think you have to take things one day at a time, right? I think it's very easy to fall into desire for instant success because you see people on the internet who are living the life that you want to live in. It's like we need that perspective of understanding that the people that you admire usually have 10,000 hours in whatever it is that they're doing at least. Okay. So that perspective I think is really important. And it's a reminder again that like this is your journey to create. There is no right or wrong way to do this. It has to make sense for you.
Yeah. And also, do you think I almost think social media can be very toxic for a new mom because literally all I did was on my phone. My phone fell on my kid's head. I don't know how many times. Poor baby. Like I'd be like this. Oh, and then I'd like cramp my arm because you're just sitting there. You're bored in the beginning. I was bored. Like I didn't have my business yet. So I was bored. I was scrolling, watching shit, being like, wow, when you don't feel your best, when you're exhausted and it's 4 a.m. and your nipples are cracking and your baby's crying and you're tired, looking at someone's amazing life that's a new mom, that's sorted, is probably not going to be the best for you. So I would say to you as well, be mindful of what you allow in, whether it's your family, whether it's the neighbors, whether it's your mother's group. The mother's group was the most toxic thing. Yo no fui. I was like, I'm not going. My maternal health nurse was toxic. My mother's group was toxic. I was like, oh no, I'm not coming to this because it wasn't good for me. So you have to think about, am I doing things that are good for me? Am I surrounded by an uplifting community? And if not, back out. It's better to be sola que mal acompañada, right? Yes. Like better to be on your own than to be around people that are fucking with your nervous system or making you feel away when you're already trying to build and grow. Because, and imagine, Janice, we don't have a toxic ex, but imagine having a baby daddy that also that drama. And I know some people listening have that. So we love you. We are praying for you because that's even more like,
it's a lot. So you have a new book out. Tell us about it and tell us maybe how your journey as a mom has also influenced your journey as a now 2-time author.
Oh my God. I know my baby, my Becoming Magnetic book. So actually in the book, I talk about magnetic parenting and how when you step into your magnetism, which is about attracting what you want and repelling what you don't, and like being a magnet to everything that you desire. And in that book, I think that it's so funny because it's about magnetism. Confidence is in there. I dedicated a part to my kids because my kids are my little one is so magnetic. He would just go up to someone and go, hi, what are you doing here? Who are you? And he just, oh, you look great. Oh, Janice, are you 17? Your hair looks amazing. Like seriously, he is a psycho. He just gives all the flowers to be like, mommy, you look good. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, he just, this like has a beautiful energy about him. The other one's very confident, humble, beautiful. And so I wrote inside of the book a section around magnetic parenting because I speak to a lot of women and I think you probably do as well. I want my kids to be confident. I want my kids to learn about money. I want my kids to make good decisions. And it's like, do you make money? Do you make good decisions? Are you confident? And so it's beautiful when you can step into this work, the work that you do, the work that I do, and actually you live it. And by you being who you are, your kids witness that and they become who you are. They literally start doing what you do, start acting like you act. And so I think it's an important responsibility that we have as mothers, as parents, is to make sure that we are walking the talk. And so I wrote this book and it's really about helping women step into their confidence and their presence, because I think there's a lot of bullshit in the world of law of attraction, love and light. Put crystals in your bra and burn some Palo Santo and you're going to attract and manifest everything you want. And I'm like, bullshit, that is not going to happen. So I wanted to give like a real and raw take on, no, the problem is you need to adjust yourself because you're the one that attracts. So if you're attracting bullshit, let's change the instrument, right? Let's tune the frequency of you so that you can start bringing in what you actually want. And so in the book, it's like 5 phases of becoming magnetic. And then how does that work in real life? So it's a breakdown of how it works in your business and money, how it works in parenting, love, and relationships. And so I think that the core of this really is about you're the one attracting, you're the one repelling, you're the one, and women don't like the word repelling, but you're going to repel. Of course you are. You're going to repel what's not for you, what doesn't fit you. And some of us are repelling what we want. And that shit is, ooh, wait a minute, I'm repelling what I want. And so I think the core of everything, like my first book, is always, it's you. So can you get good with you? Can you master yourself? Can you work on your mindset? Can you work on your healing and your trauma, on everything that happened for you? Because you are the tool. You're the one that attracts. You're the one that creates. We give life. Like women give freaking life. And so it's like we are superheroes, like for real. You know, my kids are like, wait, milk came out of your boobs? Wait, so like, how did I come out of your vagina, mommy? And my son. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm showing them birth videos and they're just like, what? It's so like, it looks like an animal. I'm like, yeah, because we're freaking mammals, man. Like this is, so it's, I think for me, it's a real, I'm excited. It comes out in America in May 14th is coming out. I'm really excited for it because I feel like we need some practicality. We need some, how do I actually attract? How do I manifest? Manifesting is so fluffy. It's so vague. And I wanted it to be real. And I think when we step into that, then our business gets flourishing. Our opportunities come to us. It feels like the shit that you're doing, Janice, it's just coming to you, but it's not because you've done the work on it to come.
Absolutely. You know, I think it makes so much sense because I think about even my own journey, both as an entrepreneur and just like as a human being, especially in the last like 5 years, there's been such a shift in like what shows up for me, what I'm protected from. And it's just like, I'm just moving out here, moving with very clear intentions and just a very clear vision of like what I want. And there's something to say for that. You know, it's not just about here accepting the fucking scraps like most of us are taught to do.
Yes. But you're also like, you're on a high vibe. You're on a high level. You're like, I know where I want to go. I don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but I see the vision and I show up every day and I act as the person that has what I want. I act as her now. I'm her now. So like you do that, the world responds and the things respond to you and people start to think about you and call you and they want to be around you. And so I really feel like a lot of us want to step into our magnetic selves. We want to have our energy high and it's like we're all magnetic. And I'm like, what are you attracting? What does it feel like when you walk in a room? Do I feel you? Do I even notice you? Like, what kind of energy are you bringing into the spaces? And if you don't like it, shift it. Like I will not be in a space that feels shitty and be like, oh, it feels crap in here. Well, I'm in here. So what can I do to turn that shit up? And so I walk around with this responsibility to shift the energy in the rooms I'm in because I'm in them. And if I'm not in them, it's not my problem. But if I'm fucking there, like I'm turning that shit up. And I think that when we do that, we bring in what we want and we inspire other people. And it's about connection, right? Magnetism is connection. It's not about attention. It's about connecting with other human beings. And so I think it's really important, especially teaching our kids. So I'm coming to America and we're going to actually take a photo and I'm going to squeeze you and your beautiful baby girl.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Oh my God. I know it's going to be good. I want to ask you the biggest aha that you got, like from the birthing experience to, oh my God, my baby girl is here. Like, what was your biggest, like the shit you didn't know that they're like, whoa.
I think the whole process taught me that self-advocacy is more important than ever as a mom. Okay, because you are literally the guardian of your child's entire well-being. And if you can't fucking stand up for yourself, how are you going to stand up for this child? And so there was something that just shifted in my spirit where I just got so good at saying fucking no to people. I just got so good at just saying, nope, don't have time for it, don't have energy for it, don't have the desire for it, don't have to explain myself. No is a complete fucking sentence. And I'm so grateful for going on that journey through motherhood because I don't think I would have gotten there any other way.
Yeah. It's such a, and I want to say to anyone, however you birth, but it is such an initiation. It's such a, I had so much judgment when I learned about epidurals and the system and I went a bit crazy. And my husband was like, and I'm telling my midwives, my first baby, I was like, we should march, we should protest. And my midwives are like, maybe just wait until you have your baby. Cause I'm like 8.5 months pregnant talking about, this is ridiculous. We don't have rights as women and blah, blah, blah. The system is against us. And I'm just fucking tripping. He's like, you are Puerto Rican. You are American. You are pregnant. He's like, we're fucked. This lady's crazy. He's like, you got the triple threat right now. And I'm just like, and he's like, have the baby. And then I had the baby and I had the experience I did not want to have, the epidural, the freaking cesarean, all this shit, right? To only wake up the next day being like, wow, I had so much judgment and misunderstanding and anger and like, yes, we want to fight the system. Yes, we want to make changes, but like I couldn't make those with anger and judgment. And it was beautiful, Janice, because in the work I do, I think that's my, not my problem, but I think that's my calling where God's going to give me all the experiences for me to then go, oh, okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, cool. I got it all. I tried them all. And now I have a fair opinion because it wasn't just like, just naturally home birth. That's the only way. It's like, hold on, have you had other experiences? So I think it was a good initiation, but then seeing that version of me and then having the miscarriage, because I was pushing for second baby fast. It's like, honey, I want to have another baby. I want to have another baby. You can't have a baby by yourself. You can totally try to have sex with your husband when he doesn't want to, but energetically, I was pushing and he was moving away. And I believe that miscarriage happened because we were not aligned. And I had a woman come and say to me, maybe you didn't lose your baby. Maybe it was a visitation. Maybe the baby came to check it out and was like, oh, it's not ready. And I was like, I love that. Janice, I love that. I loved visitation versus my baby died. I love that. I was like, now what's true? They could both be true. What makes me feel better? Visitation. So that loss, right, was a period. And I got pregnant right after that. So it was like directly after. So baby came back. And I believe that's my little one, right? To be like, are y'all good now? Because he's a Libran and he does not like chaos. So he's like, is everybody aligned now for me to arrive? Nava. And so that was it. And when he came, that second opportunity to birth, I feel like I grew up 10 years. I feel like I matured. I feel like, and you too, like after you have your baby, you're like, oh, I'm on the other side. I'm in motherhood now. Oh, wow. You just see the world with such a different lens. And so I saw how much I grew and how much my body could birth and how I could handle it and how this could happen and my body wouldn't fail me like the system said my body failed me. I'm like, you lied. You lied. My body's not going to make a baby that it can't pull out itself. Come on.
You know, I said it on threads that like at this point, there's nothing you can't convince me that I can't do. I've birthed the whole fucking child. Okay. It's like, don't tell me I can't do shit. Okay. I created a whole human being who's going to be out here after I'm gone. And so I think it just speaks to the immense power that we have within us to just really create the new world order. And we're doing that through our businesses. We're doing that through this next generation that we're building. And I cannot wait to see the impact that this new book has out on the world. I cannot wait to hug you in person. I can't wait to get a signed copy of the book. And I just want to wish you so much success. And thank you for the work that you do to empower us, because there's not enough women who are having these real, raw conversations in a way that really opens up the dialogue to what is possible for us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having your beautiful baby girl who's brought this wisdom through to say, hey, we need to talk about this because there's a better way. I know she's already trailblazing. Look at her being like, hey, mom, let's talk about this. Like, when you said, I was like, yes, but how beautiful that you've had this baby. And now it's like, actually, there's a lot of conversations that I'm looking forward to listening to the series that we're going to have as women of like, you don't have to believe that. And I think what I would love to say to end is like, make sure you're careful with what you believe and who you follow and what you listen to. And if you think motherhood is horrible and exhausting and bad and whatever, find a new perspective. Like you could find bad stories just like you could find good stories. And sometimes the algorithm doesn't show us everything. Okay. And it shows us interesting things. And so I would say, just like you could find bad, there's also good. There's also amazing women doing incredible things with their babies and their businesses. And because of their babies and their businesses, it's helping other people in the world. And so I just want to say thank you to you for starting this conversation because it needs to be talked about. And I really believe the young women coming now that are going to have babies or those that want to have babies, there's so much fear in women in regards to what their body can do. And I was one of those women. And that lady, Ina May Gaskin, she looks like a very old, like hippie lady, but she's like the OG in birth in America. And the shit that she talked about in the books that I read and the stories of women birthing, I was just like, whoa, hold on a minute. Like, she was like, a dog doesn't question if the dog can birth. The dog just lays there and the babies come out. And it's like your body can do it. So I think society lies to women about what we're able to do, what we're able to handle, the pain, all the movies of women laying on their back screaming and push. Mm-hmm. Nobody fucking told me I needed to push. Mira, please. So if you're young and you're thinking about having a baby, get yourself schooled up. There's a Latina called Badass Mother Birther. Her name is Luz and she's on Instagram, Badass Mother Birther. It's very confronting if you haven't had a baby through your vagina, but it is an amazing place to get schooled on the shit that our ancestors knew how to do. Pop a squat, baby comes out, bite the cord off, back to the field we go. You know what I'm saying? And now this shit, the wisdom is gone. So I think just get schooled up because you can do it. Not only can you birth your baby and have a beautiful, amazing life with your baby, but you can also build a fucking amazing business at the same time and be successful.
Absolutely. And I will challenge you and say, I don't think the wisdom is gone. I think it's been subverted. And I think now it's our time to rebirth this information, to create spaces where we are sharing this, because this is all within you, y'all. This is all within you. The hustler, the mom, The badass you want to be is all within, and we just have to learn how to unlock that shit.
Yeah, I love you. Thank you for doing this, mi amor. Te amo. I can't wait to squeeze you.
Same here. Thank you so much.